Hey everyone, welcome to the Deep Dive, where we help you learn English by taking a deep dive into real conversations.
And today we're going to be looking at a really fun and simple dialogue about hobbies.
So this is going to be great for beginners or anyone who wants to, brush up on their small talk skills,
Exactly, because, when you meet someone new, it's always good to be able to talk about something light and fun.
like hobbies.
Exactly.
So the dialogue we're going to look at today is called Sharing Hobbies. And it's all about, just like we said, meeting someone new. Maybe you're at a party or a social gathering and you want to, you know, find some common ground and make a connection.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to be Ella, one of the speakers in the dialogue, and our expert is going to be Alex.
Let's do it.
All right, ready?
Ready?
I started learning how to play the guitar last month.
Really? That sounds exciting. How is it going so far?
It's harder than I expected, but I enjoy it.
That's great. I've always wanted to learn an instrument.
You should try it. Do you have any hobbies right now?
I've been into photography lately. I love taking pictures of nature.
That's amazing. Do you have any favorite places to take photos?
Yes, there's a park near my house with a beautiful lake.
That sounds so peaceful.
It is.
Wow, wasn't that a fun little chat?
Yeah, that was great.
So now let's break down this dialogue and find all those golden nuggets, those little pieces of language that you can use to improve your English.
Let's start with some of the key vocabulary words.
Okay, great idea. Because sometimes all it takes is one new word to unlock a whole conversation.
Right, so the first word is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Alex said, that sounds exciting, when Ella told him about her new hobby.
Right.
So exciting basically means something makes you feel happy or enthusiastic.
Yeah, like when you start a new hobby or you're about to go on a trip or something.
Exactly. All right, the next word is instrument. Alex mentioned that he always wanted to learn to play an instrument.
Right.
So an instrument is something you use to make music, like a guitar, a piano, a drum set.
Yeah, those are all instruments.
Okay, and the last word we're going to look at is lately. Okay.
Alex said, I've been into photography lately. So lately means recently or in the recent past.
So you could also say, I've been into reading recently, or I've been going to the gym recently.
Exactly. It's just a way to talk about something you've been doing in the near past.
So it's a great way to keep your English sounding natural and up to date.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got the words down now. Let's move on to some of those really useful phrases that we heard in the dialogue.
Oh, it sounds good.
Because phrases, they're like the building blocks of conversation.
Yeah, they help you put your thoughts together and express yourself more fluently.
So the first phrase we're going to look at is, I started learning.
That's a great one to use when you want to tell someone about a new hobby or skill you're developing.
Yeah, you could say, I started learning to cook, or I started learning Spanish, or I started learning how to code.
Exactly. It's a really versatile phrase.
And it's simple but effective.
Definitely. All right, now, another useful phrase is, how is it going so far? Remember Alex asked Ella this question about her guitar lessons. Right, and it's such a nice way to show that you're interested in what the other person is saying.
Yeah, it shows that you're engaged in the conversation and that you care about their progress.
And it also encourages them to tell you more.
Exactly.
Okay, so the last phrase we're going to look at is, I've been into. And Alex used this to talk about his passion for photography.
Yeah, this is a great way to express your enthusiasm for something you enjoy.
Yeah, you could say, I've been into reading lately, or I've been into hiking, or I've been into collecting stamps.
Exactly. You can use it for pretty much any hobby or interest.
And it just sounds so natural and effortless.
Right. And you know what the best part is? These phrases are all really easy to use, even if you're a beginner.
That's right. So don't be afraid to try them out the next time you're chatting with someone in English.
Absolutely. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, so now we've covered some key vocabulary and some useful phrases. But how do we actually ask questions like Alex and Ella did in the dialogue?
Well, let's take a closer look at that.
Sounds good.
Welcome back, everyone.
So we just heard Alex and Ella chat about their hobbies.
Right.
And now it's our turn to learn how to do the same.
Yeah, let's put what we've learned into practice.
Exactly. So first things first, think about your hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, what are you passionate about? What makes you happy?
It could be anything. Reading, playing games, watching movies, listening to music.
Maybe you're into sports or cooking or gardening.
The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. So once you've got a few hobbies in mind, let's figure out how to talk about them in English.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, remember that phrase we talked about, I started learning?
Yes.
This is perfect for talking about any new hobbies you've picked up.
So, for example, I could say, I started learning to play the piano.
Exactly. Or I started learning to knit. Or I started learning a new language.
Perfect. So that covers new hobbies. But what about hobbies I've been doing for a while?
For that, we can use the phrase, I've been into.
Ah, okay. So I could say, I've been into photography for years.
Exactly. Or I've been into yoga since I was a teenager.
Okay, great. So now we know how to talk about our own hobbies, but how do we ask someone else about theirs?
That's a great question because remember, a conversation is a two-way street.
Right. We want to show that we're interested in what the other person has to say.
Exactly. So remember how Alex asked Ella about her guitar lessons?
He said, how is it going so far?
Right. That's a fantastic question to ask because it shows that you're listening and that you care about their progress.
And it also keeps the conversation flowing.
Exactly. So now let's try a little practice scenario. Imagine you're talking to a new friend and you want to find out about their hobbies.
Okay, already.
So you could start by telling them about one of your hobbies. Maybe say something like, I've been into gardening lately.
And then to ask them about their hobbies, I could say, do you have any hobbies right now?
Perfect. And then just listen attentively to their response. You might discover that you have some shared interests.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's always fun to find common ground with someone new.
So talking about hobbies is not only a great way to practice your English.
But it's also a great way to connect with people.
Exactly. It's all about building relationships and having fun while you learn.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so we've covered how to talk about our hobbies and how to ask others about theirs.
But there's always more to learn.
Right, so what's next? Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we've been chatting about hobbies and how to talk about them in English.
And we've learned some really useful vocabulary and phrases along the way.
Right, but sometimes we want to say more than just, I like to read or I enjoy cooking.
Yeah, we want to be able to express ourselves more fully and make our English sound more interesting.
Exactly. So how can we do that?
Well, it's all about adding details and giving your listener a little bit more information about why you enjoy your hobbies.
So instead of just saying, I like music, I could say something like, I love listening to classical music. It helps me relax after a long day.
Exactly. You're not just stating a fact, you're sharing a little piece of yourself.
Right, and that makes the conversation more engaging.
Definitely. So what are some other ways we can add details to our English when talking about hobbies?
We could talk about how often we do the hobby.
Yeah, like I go hiking every weekend, or I bake cookies twice a month.
Or we could talk about where we do the hobby.
Right, like I love to paint in my studio, or I go running in the park near my house.
And we could even talk about who we do the hobby with.
Exactly, like I play board games with my friends every Friday night, or I go bird watching with my dad.
So by adding these little details, we're giving our listener a much clearer picture of what our hobby is all about and why we enjoy it.
And that makes our English sound more natural and fluent.
Absolutely. And you know what else it does? It helps us remember new vocabulary and phrases better.
That's right, because when we connect words to personal experiences, they become more meaningful and memorable.
So don't be afraid to get creative and share a little bit of yourself when you're talking about your hobbies in English.
And remember, learning a language is a journey. It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
So be patient with yourself,
Yeah.
have fun, and keep practicing.
And don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more tips and tricks on how to improve your English.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.